All right, so let's go ahead and we are just going to dive right into it. Oh, wait, sorry. Hang on. Let's try that again. There we go. Okay. So here is what I suggest. My goal for this workshop is for you to take away a few key things. One, I want to help you learn how to talk to your kid about their brains. All right. And when we talk to our kids about their brains, there's all sorts of different aspects to that that's very important. And there's a lot of identity issues when it comes to talking about the way that we learn, because sometimes when we talk about our brains, we can identify us as being our brains, right? And so that means that if your kid has ever said something like, I'm too stupid to do this, or I can't handle this, or, no one else has these problems but me, or even when they do something really good, and they're able to executively function very well, and they just kind of shrug it off and they go, well, I didn't think it was that big of a deal. It's because they so closely identify with their brains that they're unable to take a step back and realize that even if we do say that we are our brains, what our brains put out is not who we are, right? So having a conversation with your kid about their brains and how they show or perform their learning is going to be super, super important. And that's going to be one of the biggest things that I want you guys to take away is that I want you to have good, meaningful conversations with your kids about their learning. So if you take no other classes from me, if your kid takes no other classes from me, you walk away from this workshop with that. The second thing that I want to talk about is the power of visualization when it comes to having these conversations about your brains, but also coming up with solutions as a team. Because I think one of the hardest things for us to realize when it comes to being able to have conversations with our kids is that we are looking at the world that we knew as learning, and their learning is different, right? So when we were growing up, knowledge existed here, right? And it was like quantifiable and like the answers were in the back of the book, but like don't look because that's cheating, right? Meanwhile, when they go out into the real world and they are like working with a team, like everyone talks to each other and they all like provide different answers. And then also there's this thing called the internet that has like all of the answers anyway, right? So I think when it comes to visualization, visualization allows us to open up a place of creativity in our brains that now becomes almost like a superpower, right? And so a lot of people, when they think about what learning is and what executive functioning is, they think, oh, it's the ability to, pay attention to where the knowledge is, and the knowledge is in this particular area, and that's that, right? So, not only to be able to talk about brains, to talk about learning, but also to have a better understanding of the power of visualization. And that means that the final thing is that I want you to be able to understand what the experience of understanding your own brain is. So, for that reason, I'm going to treat you as though you are one of my sketchnoting students. All right. So, when it comes to doing these different exercises, I will tell you the same thing that I tell them. And that is that I cannot stand over you and make you do the thing, right? I cannot stand over you with my hand on my, well, I mean, I guess it could, right? But it's not going to do any good. Okay. So if you want to do the exercises with me, that's great. I think that it will help you learn better. I think that it will help with your visualization, but I cannot force you to do the learning, right? I cannot force you to do that. If you end up just watching me, you are still retaining some of the information, probably more of this type of information than necessarily that type of information, but that's okay. Right? You're still getting the information and you'll have access to this so for so long because it's this Padlet will exist for a while. You'll have access to this for so long that eventually if you decide that you have enough energy that you'll be able to go back and maybe experience some of this learning yourself, right? Maybe you can take the time to actually draw with me. Okay. So I'm going to set you up by treating you as though you are one of my sketchnoting students, although you are going to be a higher level sketchnoting student. All right. So I will definitely treat you as someone who has had more experience in the world. I won't talk down to you, I promise. But I think that if I teach you the way that I teach my kids, you might be able to take this and apply it to your own kids so that it actually helps both of you come up with ideas. Because every single parent in my room is going to have a different set of circumstances, and every single kid is different. And we want our kids to feel as though they are kings and queens of their own learning. We want them to feel that way. And we have often felt that way. But the world that we had that feeling in is very different than the world that your kids are encountering. All right. And I'm not going to say that it is better or it is worse. It is just different. And because it is different, we need to be able to acknowledge those things. And we need to say, I do not want your brain to feel as though it is boxed in. And so we're going to have some really important conversations about the way that your brain works. And we're going to do it through this method. Okay. What is the method? The method is sketchnoting. So here is your first doodle challenge. I want you, and I would suggest that you do this with your kids too. I want you to take a moment now, and in this box, I want you to draw your brain. And remember, and you can draw it with me. When it comes to, and by the way, I'm going to say pause right here. If you have not gotten something to write on and something to write with, this is your invitation to do so, because this is where this deep learning that we were just talking about, the learning of experience, the learning of me not standing over your shoulder, going, do this, or you're going to get an F, right? That learning is you choosing to be a part of this. So I'm giving you the choice now. If you want to pause the video and go get something to write on and something to write with so that you can actually experience this the same way that your kids might, because that's why you're here, right? Then go ahead and do that now. Go grab something to write on and something to write with. And from here on out, I'm going to assume that you're just drawing with me. And if you're not, it's still okay. It's still okay if you're not. You can come back and do it later, or you can just watch me. I know some days I don't have enough spoons, right? So here's what we're going to do. So if you want to pause and go grab your stuff, go grab your stuff. Otherwise, I'm going to keep on going. All right. So this is what I do with my kids. And when I say kids, I mean kids of all ages. I work from, sixth grade all the way up through, I have two girls right now in college that I'm working with, right? So we're going to separate our identity from our brains a little bit, and we are definitely going to separate our brains from the performance of our brains, because what is the performance of our brains? A lot of that requires executive functioning skills to show that we can function in an executive fashion. So we're going to draw our brains. When you draw a brain, it's really easy. You just kind of draw like a squished jelly bean. And then I like to get fancy and put like little wrinkles on mine. You don't have to do that. And I get random with my wrinkles. I don't go crazy with it. And then I'm going to put a pair of shoes, and I'm going to make mine running shoes because running is a big part of my ADHD identity. It has been a lifesaver for me, literally a lifesaver. So here are my little running shoes. And if you want to, you can give your brain eyes. Just have a little fun. I'll give my brain blue eyes since I've got blue eyes. I'm going to give my brain better eyelashes than I have, because as I've gotten older, my eyelashes have gone away. I didn't know that was a part of getting older as a female, but that's great. So yeah, so there's my brain. Okay. So the first step to this is to sit down, and we are going to separate ourselves from our brain. All right. If you want to do this with your kids, you can even say, hey, listen, I want you to take a moment and I want you to draw your brain. And maybe you can draw some accessories with your brain that kind of represent who you are. So I did running shoes for mine. What else might I do? I might do a mountain bike because I enjoy mountain biking. Let them get into it. And if right now you're like, I don't have time for all this, trust me, this is going to be the one of the most important things that you can teach your kid is to understand the separation between how your brain performs and who you are as a person in order to help them hold on to that self-esteem. All right. Because when it comes to executive function, oftentimes kids are told you're lazy, you're stupid, you're uncontrollable, you're impulsive, you say all the wrong things, you do all the wrong things. They struggle with rejection so much. So much. And so, what we want to do is when their brain does something funky, like shout out in the middle of class, even though we know that that's not appropriate and we shouldn't be doing that, we can talk about our brains. One of the big things that I teach kids all the time is that an explanation, and this is a little mantra that you can start repeating too, an explanation is not an excuse. We can know why something happens in our brain, but that doesn't mean that we can continue if we want to, walk the path of life and not make everyone mad at us, that we can continue that behavior without trying to modify it in some way, shape, or form, because our brain is performing. Sometimes it is performing in a way that other people do not find satisfactory. And you, as a family, as a parent, if your kids are watching this with you, you guys have to decide what is performatively appropriate and what is performatively not appropriate. That is not my place as your teacher to tell you what is performatively appropriate and what is performatively not appropriate, right? But knowing why your brain does something can help you alter it if necessary. Okay. So step one, sit down with your kids and you're going to draw a brain together. Now, here's the other part of this. When you sit down and have these conversations with your kids, and I'm going to stand up because it's easier for me to teach that way. When you have these conversations with your kids, a couple of things are going to happen. One, you may encounter a lot of resistance at first. And the goal here is that we remove that resistance by making this a creative act. Resistance is anxiety, anxiety is fear. And the big way that you can combat anxiety and fear is through creativity. So take all of the requirements away. All right. The other thing is that, especially for people who are neurodivergent, our concept of time is very difficult for us to understand. So if your kid is taking 10 minutes to draw a brain and do all of the little accessories for the brain, don't rush them. This is step one is for them to get into this. We want them to enjoy this process with you. We want them to enjoy this process so that it is not you think that I'm lazy and you think that I'm stupid and so now we're doing these drawings and things like this and like I don't want that. Instead, allow them to have what level of engagement they want. If they get sucked into this and they draw their brain and all the accessories of their brain and they do a whole backstory for their brain, all the better, because that means that when you go and have these important conversations with them about their learning, they're going to be really into it. And that's one of the best skills that you can give them, even more so than being able to identify, the capitals of the different states that you're in, right? So like, memorization, rote memorization, all of the curriculum that we try to teach them and all of those things, nothing, nothing, nothing will teach them more than having them understand how best they learn. Because I think that's going to be one of the most important skills that we can have in this upcoming creative job market that we're going to have. So I'll stop it there. Quick recap. We're going to talk about ourselves as a separate entity from our brains. We are going to talk about the fact that when it comes to the way that I don't know if you guys saw that, but it's like a little thumbs up. Didn't know it did that. The fact that the world that the kids that are our kids are living in now is different than the world that we once knew. And then lastly, we're going to go through the experience of learning in this very unique way that can help your kids better understand how they perform brain work or executive functioning, as we call it. So I'm going to stop it there. This is probably already way too long.